Einkorn flour and peanut butter. Oh my God, this is a killer combo. You've got to try it. Warm out of the oven. Oh. Today I'm making vegan Einkorn peanut butter cookies. I'm going to be using Einkorn flour, which is a whole grain flour. I love using Einkorn just like spelt. Actually, it's in the same family. And as you know, spelt flour is my favorite, and this is coming my close second. Einkorn flour is so easy to digest. So many people that have a gluten intolerance can eat Einkorn flour and spelt flour. But if you're celiac, don't try it because it's not gluten-free. And today, instead of adding butter and oil like everyone does to their cookies, I'm not adding any of that. So it's oil-free, but it's surely not fat-free because we're using peanut butter, and I'm gonna put some good fat in it, yogurt. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I wanna do is get my flax egg into the water. So now the next step is to put our dry ingredients into the bowl. I'm gonna sift it because as you can see, I left my container out of Einkorn flour. You can see how it's a little bit clumpy, but it's really finely ground. It's just that it contains a lot of moisture, and so it does that. So I'm gonna do this sifting just to make sure I don't get any clumps. And to this recipe, I'm gonna be adding 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter, but I'm gonna be adding 1/4 of a cup, or 1/3 of a cup rather, of my peanut butter powder. And I'm gonna put that in here because that tends to clump up also. And now we're just gonna sift that through. It'll be worth it, but if you wanna skip the sifting step, it's really not a problem. And to our dry ingredients, we're gonna add our salt, baking soda, baking powder, and we'll give that a little whisk around just to blend that in. You can see how much moisture the Einkorn flour actually has because it looks like it's clumping, but it's just moisture. I actually don't think I needed that, but the peanut butter powder I would like to sift in there. Okay, so now in our next bowl, we're going to add our wet ingredients. Let's start with the peanut butter. When you open a jar of peanut butter, at the bottom of the jar, you get the peanut butter that doesn't have as much oil as on the top, even when you try to stir it in. And this was the end of my jar, so it's not as oily as it usually is, and it's a little harder to blend, but we're gonna be adding some liquid stuff. If I need to add a little liquid, I'll add some at the end. So to that, I'm gonna put my maple syrup, my yogurt. That's gonna help to replace the butter or the eggs, and it's gonna give it some nice tang and some moisture. And then we just have two things left, our flax egg. Now before we add the sugar, let's just try to get this blended up because that peanut butter's, like I said, it doesn't have a lot of fat in it right now. So if your peanut butter is really soft, you may not need to do this, but if it's like mine and it looks like this, it's gonna take too long, so I'm just gonna do it with my hand mixer. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that sugar right in there. That's looking really good. Nice. Okay, and now we're gonna start incorporating our flour. One of the beautiful things about Einkorn flour is the color. It's this yellowy, buttery. It's so beautiful in addition to tasting so good. I've been making Einkorn bread and just enjoying my Einkorn flour so much. I can't wait to share some recipes with you guys because it's so healthy and it's so good. best thing about vegan cookies is you can eat it raw. Wow. So right here, you're just trying to determine if you've got the right texture. You can see it's pretty stiff dough, and you can certainly add a little bit of soy milk or coconut milk to this, or even water if you want it a little bit softer, but I like it like this because we're going to be doing those traditional fork marks and pressing it down on the baking sheet. So let me get my baking tray and we're going to put these on there and get them in the oven. Okay, I'm going to use my little cookie scoop, but if you don't have that, just use a spoon. This helps them become the same size, and we're going to just put them on the tray. So at this point, I like to wet my hands and just pat them down, trying to keep them into little round cookie shapes. It's always better with a little water on the top, then it doesn't stick. Now it's time to make the little marks. You see it continually presses them a little flatter. That's why I leave them a little fatter before I mark them. That looks fantastic. I'm going to sprinkle them with a little bit of coconut sugar. And I think I want to do a very light dusting of flour on the top, just to make it look beautiful. Fantastic, they look beautiful. And now it's time to put them in the oven. I've preheated at 350 and it's probably going to be about 15 minutes. Now for the best part, the taste test. Okay, I lied. I took a bite because I wanted to take a photo like this. But here we go. So you can see they're a little crunchy on the bottom, but nice and soft and chewy on the inside. That's fantastic. I even thought you could sprinkle the top with a little salt instead of sugar to make it that salty peanut butter flavor, but wow, that's good. I like that the center is nice and soft. And you know how it is baking cookies. You just do it a few minutes less. It's a little less crunchy, and then it's more soft, and a little longer, then it's totally crunchy, but I like this a good combo. Einkorn flour is so good. You would never know that these are made with einkorn flour, but it just gives it that extra little, I don't know, buttery kind of, it's an amazing taste, einkorn flour. You guys gotta try it. You guys, there's no oil, there's no butter, there's no milk, there's no eggs. It's so good, and it's so much healthier than adding all that other stuff. That's fantastic. Let me go check on those other ones. Cookies are always a batter, in my opinion, a little underdone. They look like they're really soft right now, but in 10 minutes, when they cool off, they always get a little harder. Oh, look, my squirrel just came in the house. Hi, buddy. You want to come over here? Come here, buddy. I wish you guys could see him. I have my door open, and he comes in my house to get his peanuts. But I want to do one of these, even though they're really hot. I just want to show you. Do you see when they're, look how moist they are. They still, you can see they have that brownish bottom that's going to be nice and a little bit crispy. But do you see how soft and moist they are? Whew, they're hot, but fantastic. That is so good. Oh my God. That is fantastic. Hot out of the oven and moist like this, fantastic. And you guys, to all of you that are subscribing, I really want to thank you. I hope I can get to 1,000 before my birthday on June 11th. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. I really appreciate it. And try these cookies. They're delicious and they're oil-free, dairy-free. They're not gluten-free, but if you can't do gluten and you're not celiac, they're as good as gluten-free. All right, you guys, I love you and I'll see you next time. Bye. Amazing.